Hi, I've got something you'll be interested in. Those performance upgrades we discussed after the last race. They're on the car and the data looks promising. Take a look at the details.
Welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. Over the next few minutes, the teams will be heading out onto this classic Formula One track for what we're expecting to be a very hectic practice session. So Anthony, lots to do of course in these sessions, lots of programs to run. What are you looking for when you jump in the car for free practice?
Well, you have basic checks first of all. Is the car working correctly? What are the track conditions like? And you'll be chasing that as the session goes on. Things like that. Then you start getting into the nitty-gritty of it all, and they become more like test sessions where it's all about gathering new data, testing components, tweaking the setup and so on. So there's only so much actual practice that these drivers need. Most of them will be plenty familiar enough with the track layout, either from previous experience or from the simulator.
Okie dokie, we like to get a tyre wear program done on at least one compound during these sessions.
it's Emma. Your qualifying goals came up in the board meeting this morning. Here's what to expect.
Here we are at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the start of today's qualifying session. It won't be long now until we're ready to join the action down at trackside. Drivers tend to complain about tyre wear around this track, and the compounds on offer this weekend aren't likely to put that issue to bed. Is this going to be about who can make the tyres last?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91, or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Anthony Davidson is here with me today. Together we'll be taking you through all the action of this Spanish Grand Prix. It can be hard for the cars to follow each other closely here due to the dirty air coming off the car in front, so perhaps we're looking at a more strategic Grand Prix out. What do you think on that?
I'm not too sure about that, Crofty. I mean, yes, as you say, it's hard to follow around here, but if you're brave on the brakes, you can get the job done down into turn 1, which is a medium-speed corner, so you have to be committed. And looking down at this grid today, I think we're going to see 1 or 2 drivers making a move from a long way back, maybe try to force their opponent into a mistake. I don't think this is a race that's going to be purely decided in the pit stops.
Okay, let's aim to get 8th or better.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Nico Rosberg will start his Silver Arrow from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Raikkonen, Max Verstappen and Massa, Sainz, Ricciardo, Bottas and Toro Rosso, Button, Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso and Perez, Grosjean, Gutierrez, Kevin Magnussen and Pascal Wehrlein. Palmer and Nasser, Marcus Ericsson and Rio Haryanto completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
upgrades, so go through them all if you can. damage to the front wing, but it doesn't seem to be affecting performance. The gap to the car behind is 2.8 seconds. In the next pit window, opening in 2 laps, full wets in 2 laps. Verstappen could be due to pit within the next couple of laps. The race on this compound. They're going to be slow. Distance to the leader is 39.7 seconds. Our gap to the car in front is 6.9 seconds. Seems like there's some kind of problem with their car. Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
Brilliant stuff from Mercedes today. That's another historic win. Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, I have to give it to Lewis Hamilton. You know, it was just the kind of drive you'd expect from a multiple world champion. I think I'll have to give it to the Toro Rosso driver. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. There'll be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you can join us at the next race to see just who will come out on top. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.